What is up, guys? Welcome to episode 10. Double digits, baby. Double digits.
10.
Episode
10.
Of the Fielder's Choice podcast. I am Dan Field. All the way to the left, we got Matt Giblin. And in the middle, Mrs. Angie Santamaro. What is up, guys? How are we doing? Episode
Going on, guys. 10.
Episode 10.
Oh,
Let's
man.
go.
Busy weekend. A lot to fill
I
you guys
heard.
in on. Well, you were part of it.
Oh, I was one part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I want to hear about, guys.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, Gib and I, we did 4 games today at Tufts University, and whoever said that turf is 10 or 15 degrees hotter than, a regular field, they were certainly correct because it was hot as hell. Gib and I did 4 straight games.
On a 91-degree day.
I still
That's
can't. I
insane.
took a cold shower. I still can't cool myself down. And
Ice
Gibbs-
cold shower when
yeah,
I got home,
Yeah. Crazy.
which was
The only-
awesome, but I mean, it is exhausting. The heat is exhausting.
Oh, and yeah, you got to drink a lot of water. The only good thing about being on a turf field is you don't have dirt in your nose or your eyes. I went to the eye doctor recently, and she was, she tested my eyes, whatever. And then she's like, "You have a lot of dirt particles in your eyelashes." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm an umpire, and I often get dirt in my face." She was like, "That makes sense."
Oh, that's
Yeah.
You don't
funny.
get dirt ants. You get those black little pebbles,
Well, on
whatever
turf,
it is.
but when you're not on turf, you're getting a lot of dust just from movement, from kicking balls, whatever. I didn't want to tell her I had balls flying in my face, though. So,
She might ask different
frowned
questions.
upon.
she might ask some more questions.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a huge showcase going on. Prospect Select 16, 17U, 230 teams from around.
Wild.
One of the teams we had was from Florida. They flew 3
West Palm
hours.
Beach.
Oh, no
to
way.
Florida.
Yeah.
But most teams are either local, Connecticut, New Jersey, New
Yeah.
York.
A lot of New Jersey teams, it seems.
And what are the chances the first game we get, Chris Gobiel, one of my teammates on the Natick team, that's why I'm rocking the Natick jersey. His son, Cam Gobiel, was, I think he plays for Natick High, and he was the leadoff batter. And I was like, wait a minute,
Oh, that's awesome.
I recognize you. And I saw
I've had
Gobiel.
Mike Powers' kid a couple times.
Yeah, I've had him
Yeah.
a few times. Liam.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I got to see Gobes, I call him, one of my former teammates, and that's why I'm
awesome.
rocking
Great
the
guy.
Natick jersey.
His son got thumped.
Yeah,
His first at bat took one square to the back.
yeah, he did. Oh, I thought it hit him in the bum, right in the buttocks. Was that the first pitch of the game?
First or second? Yeah,
Yeah,
first I think
yeah,
it was. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah it was.
So it was good
Yeah, I
to
got a
see
game
it.
tomorrow. I'm hoping it's not as hot.
I thought it was supposed to be hotter tomorrow, but someone
Oh,
else
great.
said that today was the
I
hotter
heard.
day.
I heard we're in for a hot week. Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay.
I never thought
Well, at least
I'd
I'm
say
not
we
behind
need,
the dish.
we need rain, but I wouldn't have
Well, it's
mind.
supposed to rain for the rest of the week, so you're going to get your wish.
Oh, there
we
we go.
There we
Come
go.
on,
Yeah.
D.
Mm.
And then yesterday, Ange and I, the podcast, we went to the Bananas game at Fenway, which was just absolutely bananas.
It's bananas.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
See what I did there?
Come on, give me some highlights.
I mean,
I
nothing beats Angie's.
No, that was
Highlight.
amazing.
She ran into her favorite player on the elevator. What are the
Yeah.
chances?
What?
Look how
Yeah.
happy she. Look how
That
happy
is
she was.
awesome.
So the backstory was, right, so Dan and Brett did it last year. They went. And so I had said to Dan, you got to talk to Jackson for me. You have to talk to Jackson for me, right? Number 8, Jackson Olsen, the one with the
The
shades
one
on his
yeah.
head. Yeah, on the left.
Yeah.
So he, you had sent me something where you had chatted with him, and that was awesome. And then so this time around, I said again, you have to, you have to talk to Jackson. You have to, somehow get me in there. Whatever. He said he hadn't seen him. He couldn't find him. I am with Zach, 2 kids, and one of my son's friends. and we're just trying to run around and find our seats. So I'm like, just get on the elevator. We have to get on the elevator. I think we're upstairs. So we're waiting for the elevator. It's not coming. So I'm like, F it. Like, let's just take the stairs. The elevator doors open as I'm maybe like 5 feet away, right? So Zach, kind of like, come on, let's go get in the elevator. So I'm at this point hot, just annoyed. I run onto the elevator. I'm about to say something like, we should have just taken the stairs. And there in the corner is Jackson and Alex Ziegler. And so I'm like mid, like, what the, oh my God, hi. What? I was like, wait, what? I was like, wait a minute, hold on. And I couldn't even get the words out. And then I was just like, can we take a selfie? Please, I have to take a selfie. And so they're like, yeah, that's fine.
Total fangirl, huh?
Total friggin' fangirl moment.
Yes, she is.
And so I don't even think I got out a coherent sentence. Took the selfie.
Smile. Look at that.
Smile
says it all.
It was, yeah. It was like I couldn't even worry about what I looked like at the moment. Like normally I'll try to give like a smile that doesn't do that to my face, I don't have the most photogenic face when I smile, but I could not. And they seemed like they had a lot of people who were probably kind of chasing them around, and they, gladly and happily took the selfie. And then the elevator opened, and they were kind of just like, okay, we got to get out of here. Like get us off this elevator.
Yeah.
I don't think because of me, but just because it really could have been. However, after I took the selfie, I honestly couldn't even. I couldn't even.
Starstruck.
Yeah, literally, because I had thought a million times of like what I would say if I ran into him or if I was interviewing him with Dan or something, but obviously not like that, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, and so I started to say, my friend Dan, he's on the field, and I told him to find you, and. Well, here you are. And he was just looking at me like, what the fuck, lady? Also, sometimes I forget I'm not a cute 25-year-old anymore and that I'm a 40-year-old mom now. Like, I oftentimes forget that that's not who I am. So that I also have to remember, like, there's no part of this that you're like, oh, come talk to me. Like,
come on,
which he's like 25 and probably has a ton of like cute 20-year-olds like following. He doesn't need a 40-year-old mom, which is fine. I can accept that, And so I was just like, oh my God, totally wigging out. But anyways, gladly took the selfie. And then when the elevator doors opened, they were ready to get off. But it so happened to be our floor. So we just, yeah. So anyways, like, those yellow baseball pants do a lot. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. So yeah, Brett, Rudy, and I, we had media passes. So we got to be at Fenway all day long. We interviewed a bunch of players right from
guys
the field.
got there early though too, right?
They were there super early.
11:30. So yeah, these I mean, what these players, they have to be there. I'm sure they're paid good money, but yeah, they have to be there. And it was a 2-day event because they just played again tonight. And they got 11:30 to 2 was like the interview period, and then they got the VIB, the very important bananas who get to come in earlier than the other fans to get autographs and all that stuff. So all that's going on, and people are packed outside like 3-4 hours before the game.
It was crazy. Yawkey Way or Jersey Street or whatever it is now. Bananas. Lansdowne was insane, and whatever that street is that crosses right before the stadium, but after you're like in this, it was wild.
Jersey,
you couldn't move.
That's Jersey Street.
Oh no, Jersey's that one, but then what's the cross one? I never know what that one is.
Not Yawkey.
No, because
behind Lansdowne.
Yeah. Whatever it is, but packed, and because they do all the pre-game shows and celebration, and there's performances, and the merch tables were crazy to the point where people were waiting inside of the Red Sox shop just for the AC because they weren't opening the gates until about 4:30. Yeah. So I mean, people showed up at 2. People were there earlier than that. So at this point, now you're just waiting, baking out in the sun, and want to get into the stadium, but you can't. So people were in the shop, just sitting on the floor, just trying to get cool. And then around 4:20-ish, 4:25, people just started heading towards the exit. So it was just a madhouse.
Yeah, it's crazy. But so last year, Brett and I, the media, we sat in the Jim Beam dugout. So we assumed that's where we were sitting again this year. Well, no one ever told us anything differently. So we go to our seats in the Jim Beam dugout. This was just right before game time, and there was like free Cracker Jacks, lobster rolls, beer, soda, all. Like, we didn't get this treatment last time. And literally, it was just Brett and I were the only ones there, like, in this Jim Beam, dugout. And I'm like, this can't all be for us. Like, this is crazy. So obviously, we started eating the lobster rolls, drinking the beer, and it turns
wasn't
out,
for you, was
no,
it?
it turns out there was like a party of 20 from Edward Jones financial company, I guess, that had bought the tickets for the Jim Beam dugout. So we got the boot to the media.
And you were eating their
next
lobster.
door, which was literally filled with the band's. What was the band that they?
All American Rejects. No, the All American Rejects played. Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, the instruments and
that
stuff.
whole section was just filled with their equipment. So we had like this much room. So we went from thinking we were getting the VIP treatment to not even be able to like sit down. But then we found out. So someone from the Red Sox came down, and she was explaining the situation. She's like, "Yeah, we got this party coming in. You guys got to be over here. Stop eating the food." She said,
That's not yours.
but then she said, apparently there's a place on the 5th floor for media. So eventually Brett and I went to go check it out, and Angie made her way back there with my
That was awesome.
pass from last year. And yeah, it was crazy. We went up there. There was like a cafeteria, free food, drinks, like pretty much what we had in the Jim Beam dugout. But the only thing is you couldn't see the game. It was just a cafeteria closed off from
Yeah,
the
it's
field.
inside. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But then we went inside, and they had this whole media room. We literally had this whole like place to ourselves. And Angie eventually came
Yeah,
in.
that's Media Row.
Yeah. So then
Nobody here.
Dan called me. Yeah. I went down. It was the coolest. It was so cool.
It was a great view. I wish I had a picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where all the scribes sit with their computers and type up their articles for the Globe and Herald and whatnot.
So,
There was one other person in there when I got down there, but it was such a crazy view. What an awesome thing.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah, huge windows, wide open. I was hoping we were going to get a foul ball, but that didn't happen.
Oh, Rich is watching. It's Ipswich Street. Hi, Rich.
Ipswich. Thank you, Rich.
That's what it is. Yeah. So, but what, and well, I don't mean to cut you off, Dan, but what an amazing experience for the kids.
Yeah.
You don't see kids at baseball games anymore. You really don't. Mm-hmm. And if you do, it's really just diehard, kids who are players themselves. But this was such an event to bring back some excitement to the game. And so I know people like dog on it all the time, but my kids loved it.
Hey, they're selling out every stadium they play in.
And it's so fun.
They're doing something right.
Two things I heard this morning about it. One, Fenway hasn't been that electric, someone said, since the Red Sox-Yankees one-game playoff a few years back.
It gets loud.
100%.
After COVID. And that was it hasn't even come close to what someone said what last night was. And the second thing, Jesse Cole, this brand that he's built, it's bigger than what I think he even thinks it is. I mean, it's
huge.
Yeah.
And do you know, and I think, Dan, we had talked about this, but it's just him and his wife who own it. They have no other shareholders, no other people a part of it, because he was very clear about the fact that once you introduce other people, they want to bring in their ideas. Mm-hmm. And that he has just been fans first from the beginning. And you can really feel that when you're at a Bananas game.
Yep.
It's fun, it's alive, the audience, the fans are a part of the game. They bring them in. They have kids on the field. The kids are warming them up. Like, could you imagine if at Fenway they just grabbed kids out of the stadium to throw with them? Are you kidding?
The Red Sox should do something like this.
What an opportunity!
Right.
Yeah,
right?
no, it was so awesome. They do such a great job.
Yeah, at one
MLB
point,
has.
go
I
ahead.
was going to say MLB has too much money involved. You guys know that, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's more. It's more than that.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying.
But they
Yeah,
could. But they choose not to. And I get it. But they would get more fans, I think, if they did, to be honest with you. They had a baby race. They had
yeah,
a baby
yeah,
race in the middle of the
yeah,
game.
that was funny.
That was people were cheering for babies to crawl.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
come on. That was friggin' awesome. And the tickets are affordable. They're affordable and you get great seats. I haven't seen Fenway with that many people that packed since I was at the ACLS a couple what was it, maybe 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah, and last thing, 'cause I know Joe, our special guest, is waiting, but
Yep.
Vincent the umpire, I talked to him about the podcast. He agreed to come on, so I'm going to reach out to him, the dancing umpire.
So excited.
So
Very cool.
He's going to come on the show. But yeah, at one point Jesse came down to the Jim Beam dugout and he was signing autographs for all the kids. They were going crazy. Brett and I were helping to like feed the balls and all that stuff to him.
Oh, Brett had a great picture of kids handing their balls over the wall.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
I grabbed a couple of their practice balls, or these are the game balls, but these were in their practice, bucket, whatever. Yeah. So overall, a very cool experience.
It's awesome.
It was wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
And
great.
they're talented players. I mean, they play baseball. They're talented. 3 home runs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one of the pitchers was dealing. I mean, it was awesome.
Yep. An experience for sure.
Yeah.
And I missed Doug Flutie. Doug Flutie threw out the first. Well, it's supposed to be the first pitch, but he threw it in the dirt, and he's like, "I want to pitch to the whole batter." So I ended up pitching to the whole first batter. He also.
Well, and then Brock Holt
played for Natick, by the way.
Oh yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brock Holt. Yeah. Keith Folk showed up. But anyway, the reason
All-American
we're all here,
Reject.
All-American
Yes,
Rejects.
bring 'em on.
I had no idea who they were, by the way. Just by looking at them, I was like.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, we got Mr. Joe Cacciatore, episode 10, a longtime umpire, a signer, member of the EMBUA, the MIAA. Has been umping forever. He's been around forever. I'm not trying to age you, Joe, but we ready for our special guest?
Absolutely.
All
Absolutely.
right, let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Mr. Joe Cacciatore. Hello, sir. Welcome to the
Joe.
show.
Hello.
Joe.
It's nice to officially meet you. All three of us have heard your name many of times, being part of the MBUA, but we've never officially met until tonight. So nice to meet you. Thank you for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. If you could please introduce yourself to the people.
Yeah, my name's Joe Cacciatore. I've been umpiring since 1971, but actually before that, a member of the MBUA since 71. But actually umpired before that, just kicking around field, doing there were no umpires to do little league games and pony league games at the time, and kind of I'll do it, and
That's kind of where we're at.
back
Yeah.
back then, right? $8, right, to do a game, right?
$8. Wow.
$8? What?
It was like hitting a number back then, though. It was great. Thanks. $8 in your pocket when you're 15 years old is $8.
That's
right?
crazy.
And the next night you try to be the first one to the field in case they needed someone again. So that's how I actually started. I got involved really. This is a name that goes back a little bit. Bernie Murphy, who was a member of, he's an honorary member of our board. and a Waltham person. He got me interested. He gave me my first equipment. He goes, try it, let's go. Right. And he saw me work, and I kind of like, I enjoyed it. The money was good. And I was strictly working in Waltham at the time. It's not like it is now where you're traveling all over the place. I was strictly working in Waltham. As a matter of fact, we started a Waltham Umpires Association and had 40-something people belong to it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just
That's
from
a lot.
Waltham?
Well,
That's great. Yeah.
we had three little leagues in Waltham with
Three
two
little.
with two diamonds going every night.
Wow.
Wow.
Right, plus a pony league, which was 13 and 14 year olders, and then Connie Mack League, which was 15 to 18, and then Stam Musial after that. So there was a lot of baseball to be done in Waltham, and
That was before Legion kicked in?
That's way before Legion really got started. But I got hooked, and again, when you're in high school and right in college, hey, there's money to be made out there if you want to go and hustle.
Yeah.
Not all that different from how it is today,
Exactly. You want to be good. Get out there. Go do your 4 games when it's 90 degrees. That's how you get better. Right?
We would have made $32.
But
wouldn't have got us to the field.
Nope.
Right. Yeah, right. So, did you ever play, Joe? Did you ever play baseball?
Yeah, I played up until through high school. When I went to college, I played basketball at Curry, actually that's when I started to really get involved with umpiring.
Do you umpire or official anything else? Do you do football? Do you do basketball or anything else in the off season?
I was the high school basketball coach here in Waltham for 31 years.
Oh wow!
I bet you know my uncle.
I'm sure. And I do football, and I assign 6 football leagues.
Currently,
Wow.
high
Busy.
school leagues, yes.
Wow.
So I'm pretty busy all year long.
You and Walter.
Yep.
So are you still umpiring or just mostly assigning these days?
This year I had to take the year off. I just got operated on. I had a back fusion, so had to take the year off. But doctor says by this time next year I should be ready to strap it on again. So
yeah.
All right.
Doctor with a white coat or doctor your wife?
Yeah.
both of them.
Hey now.
Because we know how that works too. That's our.
Matt has
Hey
both of
now.
those.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. My wife keeps good checks on me, so she
Uh-huh.
wants me healthy. I mean, that's a matter of fact.
My wife has been great because a lot of my a lot of our time has been taken up with me coaching and officiating, and she grew accustomed to it. She just doesn't like to go out and watch me umpire or officiate.
Well, in a heat like this, I imagine, I mean, I'm 46. I think Gibbs a few years younger, and yeah, by game 3, 4, like it was.
We were trash,
Yeah.
It's kind of the problem with some of this is yes, we know we need to work because of the shortage, and we want to work as well too. But
Yeah.
you're half as good as you are game 3. than
Oh,
you were
absolutely.
to start, you know. So
Yeah. True.
Absolutely. I'm lucky I never had to do the 3 or 4. You know, if we got a double, you know, we were happy with that.
Hmm.
So even when you were younger, you didn't do that many games per day?
No, never.
Wow.
when did that change, Joe? Like 10 years ago?
Um,
Ish?
I'm gonna say right in the vicinity of 10 years, right? When we started to lose, I think the biggest turnaround is when COVID hit, and people realize, well, you know, it's not bad not having to skip out of work early, or spending a weekend with my families, you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's when we lost a lot of people, and they just chose not to come back.
Yeah, I've kind of heard the same from talking to people like Tommy Clues and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
Say that. Yeah.
lost a lot of leagues after COVID hit, and
Yeah.
with the shortage and stuff, it's kind of just this perfect wave of not stuff going our way, right?
That's the absolute truth.
Yeah.
You know, it used to be right that, you know, all the umpires would be kissing up to the assigners. Now it's the assigners that got to kiss up to the umpires.
It's a good time to be an
Hey, come
umpire.
on, I need you.
Yeah.
I keep saying it.
Yeah.
I need you.
It's a two-way street, as we've talked about too. I mean, I won't sugarcoat that either, and we don't have to too. But you're talking to 3 people that want the best quality games every single day, you know, and we're willing to do what we can to get there too.
Sure.
But we're kind of on the short end of the stick, you know. We're younger, we're less experienced. Yeah, we may know a lot about the game, but we're still kind of fighting for our position on the food chain.
Total.
Well, you're showing that. You're actually showing that by going home and working 3 and 4 games a day.
Yeah.
You're showing how serious you are about the game.
Or we're showing that we're neurotic. One or the other. I don't know.
Yeah.
That too.
Ange, I don't want to steal your question.
Oh, I mean, I think some of it you kind of answered already, but, you know, what are kind of the biggest differences you see umpiring, you know, in then and now?
Oh, you know, people who passed the exam back when I passed it, some people waited, you know, 5-6 years before they got a varsity game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now you're 2 or 3 years in, and you're on a varsity field.
Mm-hmm.
It's, you know, because we need 2 guys at the varsity level, and we can get away with one person at the sub-varsity level now.
Yeah.
And Joe, can you just kind of explain to everybody, like, what are the pros and cons of that? You know, like what, me, the 3 of us may have a pretty good baseline and knowledge of the game and stuff, but the reason why at least Dan and I didn't start umpiring is we love playing too much. I mean, we played ball as much as we could. It's only been these last couple of years where we've kind of seen this different perspective, and we're ingraining ourselves into umpiring. But that was kind of what always held us back, is I wanted to play. It's kind of changed a little bit now, but. And yes, we want to do the varsity level games, but there's a downfall to just jumping right into a varsity level game. Can you talk about those differences?
Oh, the worst thing that can happen is a young, inexperienced umpire going into a varsity game that they're not ready to do, because that can turn into, excuse my language, a shit house, and
real quickly.
And turn a lot of umpires off, right? And say, hey, I don't need this. I don't want to listen to this. You know, I don't want to work anymore. And I've seen that happen to a lot of people.
Truth be told, it happens to a lot of good umpires too. Now, I think that your parents, coaches, players, there's a different. I would say, well, I don't. Maybe you can answer this. Do you see a difference in the respect given to umpires then and now? Because it feels like when I was playing, when I was a kid, we did not talk back to umpires. You know, even high school, college, like you just shut your mouth and went back to the bench.
Absolutely. You know, I can go all the way back to when I first started, right? You know, parents were just there, right, to watch the kid play.
Right.
Know, basically, that's it. You know, wins and losses to the parents didn't matter, right? No one at that time thought their kid was going to end up playing third base for the Red Sox.
Right.
Now you have so many parents that really think that high school and AAU and all these leagues are going to get their sons and or daughters, right, scholarships, right, or contracts in the big leagues. And you know, we know what the odds of that are. You know, they're very, very, very slim.
Do you think the advent of the AAU programs is kind of what exacerbated all of that?
Absolutely right. Hey, you give me $3,000, right, and I'll tell you you're the greatest thing since ice cream, right? I'll tell the parents that, and they'll believe me. I'll get them to believe me. Just give me the $3,000 first.
Yeah, right. Well, there's also this I feel like there's a difference in mentality that kids can't lose now, right? Because if they lose, that will affect them or their self-esteem. Whereas when we were kids, if we lost, we just tried to get better, right? Like if you lost, you worked your ass off. Now it's
participation trophy.
That to me has been the downfall of all sports, right? Like you're not as good sometimes, and that's okay. Work harder or smarter.
Agree 100%. And again, like was just mentioned, everybody gets a participation trophy, which is ridiculous.
Yeah. I got my kids played Little League, or they in their first year, and one of my kids was not a ball player at all, and he sat in the outfield and picked daisies for like the entire season, which was whatever, it was his thing. But then at the end of the year, they wanted to give all the kids medals, and I was just like, no, Bubba, like you spent the entire time in the field. We can go get a slush, great last game, but you're not getting a medal for that. And so many people thought I was the meanest person in the world. But I'm like, I'm not giving my kid something that he didn't earn. It's not fair. And that's what I see now. A lot of that on the field. A lot of entitlement.
Right. And again, right, what happens is, right, if you're umpiring and you strike somebody out, right, you know, how the hell can you call that a strike? Right? You know, there are people watching my son here, and you know you're going to affect him going to the pros. No, you know, get a life, get a life, right. Get a clue and get a life.
So how do you deal with parents like that? Oh, sorry, Dan, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm very, very quiet about it, right? I don't stop anything in the middle of an inning, but at the end of an inning, I'll kind of saunter over to where they are and just tell them, you know, I hear you, and I really don't want to hear you anymore, and I'm not afraid to get rid of you right away. I'll have the head coach come over, grab you, and get you out of here. Now, do you understand? Right? Let the kids play, and that's the end of it.
But Joe, correct me if I'm wrong. That was an acquired skill you learned. I mean, how many years did it take? How many years did it take to learn something like that without you just kind of? I mean, I had to bite my lip a few times this week. I mean, Dan was with me for a few of these incidences. You just takes everything in you just to.
Yeah.
When I first started, I was a red ass. I was, right? You know,
Meaning?
If you looked at me sideways, right? You know, you'd get a warning, and then I dumped you, right? You know, I didn't care, right? But then when I really got into it, right, I kind of learned that you have to be a little bit patient, right? Plus, you get to know more and more people. They get to know you. They see you work. They respect the way you work. You know, and I've been very fortunate with my resume, and people knew about my resume, and I really didn't. I'm still working now, and I don't remember the last person I ended up throwing out of a ball game, a parent or a player or anything.
Yeah, Angie and I still haven't popped our ejection cherry. Yeah,
no.
In our second.
Given a couple of warnings.
It's coming. It's coming.
Couple warnings, but nothing yet.
Going back to what we were talking about earlier, so as an assigner, how do you know when an umpire is ready for the for the varsity level?
It's all by word of mouth, right?
Okay.
I really don't get an opportunity to get out there and watch, you know, some of the younger umpires.
And that's how it used to be back in the day, from what I've heard. People would go out and scout.
Oh yes.
The umpire, yeah.
Oh, but I'll tell you what, when I have an opportunity, like this year, right? I wasn't able to work because of my back.
Right.
I was able to go out and watch people that were recommended to me. I watched them work, and you know, yeah, they're not bad. You know, put them on the list, and we can use them in certain situations. Basically a JV umpire, but you know, he's our first one that we can move up to the varsity level. Some of the high school coaches, and I have a great rapport with all the leagues that I assigned up until this year. They would call me and tell me, hey, there's some pretty good guys or girls out there, like that
girls. It's me.
Girl.
They can work. Right?
Now, would you tell those umpires? Would you give them the good feedback? Because I feel like,
absolutely,
for some reason, maybe
this is the problem we're running into.
Yeah, with Walter, you know, it would be great, even if it's negative feedback. We would love to know, you know, how well we're doing, and I've even directly asked him a couple times, you know, has there been any feedback? Has any coaches said anything? You know, I would love some feedback.
And this isn't a knock on Walter. We know Walter is busy enough.
It's not a Walter thing. But
I think the biggest thing is we really, as young umpires, want that feedback to know like where we can get better. And
we're told you'll know when you're with your next assignments. And that's not.
I mean, that's the biggest answer we're getting. Yeah.
Well, and it's hard because there are so few umpires that we're getting everything from JV to varsity to little league and bouncing back and forth. So the next assignment is really just the next assignment. I guess if we are starting to move way up, we'll notice. But right now it's hard to tell, right? So what are some of the qualities you see, or what are some of the things you think of when you say, yeah, that umpire's doing a great job?
First of all, right, the way he dresses.
Mm.
Believe
Yeah.
it or not,
No.
No, that's,
right?
Yep.
That's
No,
one of the,
I shine my shoes before every game.
right. You know, your shoes should be shine. You know, should be shine. And I'm not talking about you have to shine them every day, but
I do.
make sure they're wiped down good so that they look decent,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Your pants definitely should be you know, ironed neatly, and your shirt should be, you know, not wrinkled. One of the things that drives me crazy is some of these guys who buy a hat, right, and they get 3 years out of it, and they keep wearing it, and it's
Yeah.
turned blue from blue
yeah.
right to gray.
Yeah.
Well, come on, right? You got to look good, right? That's the first thing right there. You got to sell yourself.
100%. Always.
You got to sell yourself.
You got to look the part.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, you have to look like an umpire whenever you show up. There should never be a time you show up to the park and, you know, someone's saying, "Oh, here comes so and so." You know,
Exactly.
Mhm. Yes,
Exactly.
yes, that is true. But so we've heard this before about the attire and kind of presentation and the way you're looking, but also what skills are you looking for?
My biggest thing is timing,
Mm.
right?
Talk more about that.
Yeah.
You know, I was lucky. I got hooked up at a young age with I'm sure you all heard of Joe Driscoll, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Who was
Mhm.
you know, a famous high school official from around here. I got hooked up with him at an early age, and he watched me work one. Well, actually, I was working with him one night in a Stamp Musial League game, and it was the first time I had really met him. And after the game, he came up to me and he goes, "Hey," he goes, "you have great timing." I goes, I don't know. What are you talking about? I had no idea what he was talking about. I goes, "What's timing?" He goes, "No." He goes, "You wait, right? You wait on a pitch." Yeah, that's a strike. You know, that's a ball. You know, you wait, make sure, right?
Mhm.
Let it process in your mind. Yeah, that had a piece of the plate. That's a strike. But same thing on the bases. You know,
Yeah.
let plays happen, right? You got plenty of time to bang the guy out. That's what timing is, and I think that makes you a great umpire is timing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest
Mhm.
things that
Yeah.
Tom taught in his classes, and you hear it in
Mhm.
watching videos and all that stuff. All about timing. You don't want to make the call too quickly.
It's still very difficult though.
Yeah, yes.
It really is hard.
But it's
No,
crazy what can happen in
agreed.
those 2-3 seconds. You know, you could go
Mhm.
call out and then they drop the ball.
Yep.
And
I
you're
didn't
like,
even know I had good timing. I had no idea what it was until Joe explained it to me, and I said, "Oh, that's good, I guess."
And Joe, how long do you think it took to kind of say perfect that cadence, that timing? Because it wasn't just a year or two.
To me, it was automatic.
Yeah, it sounds like Joe was a
You know,
natural.
yeah.
Natural.
It was natural. You know, no one ever taught me that. But you know, what I tell young people right now is work on your timing, right?
So how do you instruct that? Like, what do you
Exactly.
give them a count? Do
Here,
you?
I'll tell you the easiest way in the world. You're carrying your indicator,
Mhm.
right? After you hear the ball pop into the glove, squeeze your indicator.
Ooh.
and then make the
Now make your call.
Oh, I like
And-
that.
And I've told a million people that, but right, some people who have done it and done it consistently, right, have turned into great to really good umpires.
Well, Gib, you would have struggled with that since your indicator broke in the second pitch of the game. If you took a foul ball right
Fourth
off.
pitch.
Fourth
right
pitch.
off. Thing shattered.
The catcher missed a
Oh,
sign, right?
been there, done that.
Straight on. I mean, I was kind of lucky because I had hurt my hand, so I had it wrapped, but it hit right off the.
Yeah, he's been getting beat up back there.
But it's all about timing.
But I mean, that's the first time I've kind of heard at least that phrase there. I've heard some different other expressions to kind of work on that, but it's interesting to get the different perspectives from people, and that's the kind of the first one I've heard about. You know, an actual that squeeze is basically yourself giving yourself that second to process, right, and then to call, right.
Yeah, it
I
works.
do like that. I do like.
Yeah, it's a great
can see why.
physical
Yeah.
reminder too, because if you're doing it, you have to wait at least a second or two.
Yes.
That's great.
Yes.
That's a great tip. Thank you.
And you
Now-
and
go ahead.
that way you're not calling the pitch when it's 3/4 of the way to the plate.
Right.
And I see so many young umpires, right, doing that, right. They're going ball, strike. No, it's ball, strike.
Yeah, Peter House
Oh.
says we need to recruit an evaluation committee. That's a great idea. Actually.
And Joe, I talked to Tommy Clues about this a little bit. Has there been any talk? I know, like, not particularly like yourself, but there are some older umpires who are, say, not as mobile as they used to be. Has there been any talk about having them, instead of going and just keeping track of pitch counts, because I know that there are umpires that go and do that in certain leagues, to basically pay them to go and basically give me, Danny, Ange feedback so we can learn how to get better?
Some of the leagues, I believe the Commonwealth Coast Conference, they pay someone, right, to track pitches, right. Hopefully it'll move into our area, right, and you know, guys can go out and pick themselves up a JV fee by sitting there counting pitches and observing the umpires also. I think, you know, that it's a great idea. Whether the schools are going to buy it or not, I doubt it.
Right.
Yeah.
Because then you're just paying another official that's not really performing an adequate duty for them.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Eventually you start umpiring at the college level, correct? How long did it take to get to that level?
Again, I was very fortunate. There was the ECAC at the time had the majority of the colleges around here, but there were some colleges that hired their own umpires, and Joe Driscoll and Bernie Murphy, those two names I brought up before. They made recommendations to these schools, and I was getting college games 2 or 3 years after I just passed the high school exam. So like in 73 or 74, I may have been working, like BU had a baseball program that hired their own umpires. Bentley did. Stonehill did. UMass did. UMass Amherst did. So I was doing those games, right? You know, like 3 years after just passing the high school exam.
Well,
So there used to be an exam
Okay.
to do high school?
Well, there still kind of is.
Oh,
an exam that we take.
Okay, I got you.
Right, but was there a separate exam or course you had to take to become a college umpire as well?
Yes. At that time, there was only the ECAC only had 50 umpires.
Wow.
Right, it was limited to 50.
Limited.
So,
Oh, okay.
Limited to 50. So I kind of had to wait like 4 years before I even got to take the exam.
Oh,
right.
Wow.
Then I took the exam and I was on my way then.
And how long did you do that for?
College.
Yeah.
College baseball. I got on the college board in 81. 81, and I retired from college baseball in 14.
What level of college? What division in college?
I worked all divisions.
All divisions.
And I was fortunate to get a lot of postseason assignments also.
Did you ever have aspirations to make it to the big leagues, or?
No, not really. But when the minor league umpires went on strike, I actually worked in Pawtucket 3 or 4 games.
That's cool.
To fill
that
in.
is really cool.
Yeah, to fill in down there. So
what year was that?
That
89-ish?
Yes, it was right after we went on strike. As high school umpires, we went on strike, and
You wanted more than $8 a game?
we went on strike for $2 for 2 years. I
2 years.
A little story I got to tell you. Right,
Go for it.
Please.
I was the president of our association that we have right now in 87 and 88. I was also the president in 2000 and 2001.
2-time, better than Trump.
And there wasn't a baseball thrown in any of those 4 years. 2 years we were on strike, 87 and 88. And 2000 was the COVID year.
Nobody wanted to work for you?
2001, right, was my last year as president. There wasn't a baseball thrown or hit. Right, my 4 years as president.
So, we don't talk about this enough, that baseball is probably one of the most superstitious sports out there. So I'm going to just put that out there. Maybe you shouldn't be president. Let's not try that again. Let's not test that. But so what were your responsibilities during that time then? What were you doing?
Well, we were negotiating with the MIAA.
Okay.
Right, in 87 and 88, right, and then
what were the biggest gripes then that you guys went on strike?
Oh, good question.
I'm sorry,
what were your biggest gripes that the union went on strikes?
We were striking over $2. We were looking for a $2 raise, and they didn't want to give it to us.
So you were right, Ange.
They said that we ended up taking them to court.
Joe, do you remember how much we were talking then? How much were you getting a game then?
I'm going to say it was approximately $48, and we were looking for 50, or
And they took you to court?
That's crazy.
Yeah, we were gonna take. We did take them to court, and we ended up in front of not a judge, but
one of the arbiters for
yes.
for union stuff,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So were they negotiating dirty or just not in good faith, or was it?
They just said no. I mean, they didn't want.
So they weren't then. So that's not good faith bargaining if they're just saying no. Wow,
No,
that's insane.
Yes, they just said no. You can't have it.
And there was no baseball played that entire year?
What they were using were the ADs were going out behind the mound.
Oh my!
They were using teachers. They were using parents.
The parents. Oh, that I would have loved to have been at those games.
Oh, I would have loved to. Yeah. It would have lasted 3 games. 3 games now.
Yeah. Right.
But
wow. Okay.
They got through the 2 years, but it was a horror show for them, and
Wow.
the schools wanted to give us the money. As a matter of fact, right, 2 of my leagues paid me the money as the assigner, right, and said, give it to your umpires on the QT. And I said, okay. Yeah. Now you can have,
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
You met our demands. Yeah. So, and it took the other, what? Like, how many other towns were we talking about? Like 10, 12-ish?
Oh, it was the whole state.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I had the whole state out. I was president of the MBUA, which is
so that was
again,
right. You were the state
then, right?
president, right? The state president and the EMBUA president separately too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. How did you get voted into something like that?
Because nobody else wanted to really get involved.
Let's see why.
Yeah.
And now you're on the MIAA committee.
Now I'm on the MIAA Baseball Committee, yes.
So go figure. You kind of went the other way there. But I know payment is one of the biggest gripes that umpires talk about. We don't have to spend a lot of time on it, but how do we get all of these towns on arbiter? Because having to wait months and months for payments from certain cities. I know a lot of umpires won't even work varsity games or high school games because of the pay. Takes forever from certain towns. How do we?
It's kind of funny you bring that up because I've got guys who work for me in the Intercity League. Won't work in the Park League, the Boston Park League, won't work in the Yorkie League because they get arbiter pay. You gotta remember now, arbiter pay, right?
Yeah,
after
you can't.
$600, you're getting it $10.99.
Yes, you can't win either way. If
right. So would you rather have the money? I'm very fortunate. I've been involved with the Intercity League. I think this is my 16th or 17th year as the assigner. My umpires get paid at home plate before the game.
That's the way to do it. Yeah, that's ideal.
That would be every umpire's wish.
Then, do you know why then, say some of the other leagues don't do that as well? I know there's another league that they use arbiter pay. Why don't they just pay their guys in cash? Because I know our leagues, the ones me and Dan play in, the MABL, MSBL, we always have to pay the umpires in cash. Why don't these other leagues? Why is there that option?
I can't answer that. I have no answer for that.
And that's not the first time I've heard that either.
Well,
I mean,
I bet that one comes from the league and the others, right? The teams are required to take care of that. So then that just kind of mitigates some sort of like paper trail tax wise.
Yes.
I mean, right? Being smart about it. Then there's nobody who has to be in charge of that on the league front. Dan, I mean, you're on the board, right? Like,
Right.
who would deal with that?
Like, it's possible the leagues just pay Walter whatever fee that is, and then because
they pay for the assigner to assign, and then they have to deal with that part. That's because that's a lot. I mean, that's a lot of money. I mean, you're looking at 50 games plus more than that.
That's it's a sticky situation.
Right.
It really is. So like I said, some guys are like you, right? They love the arbiter, right? They go home, they know their money's bank, right? It's in the bank before you get out of your car, right? Others gotta wait for it.
And not only that, if you're not writing down or keeping your games logged in a spreadsheet or something like that, you could go without getting paid maybe 5 or 6 games if you don't keep a close eye on it. You're trusting these schools to
5, 6.
Come
on.
Well, I'm being nice, but.
But when you're doing 4 in a day.
Joe, that was one of the first things someone taught me was that every single game I did, I'd put it in a notepad. The game, the day, the place, and then however I got paid or didn't get paid. And I mean, I can go through mine too. There are still schools that haven't paid me from varsity. I don't know if it was varsity or JV, and it's hard, because then we're put in a position where maybe we're going and we're stepping over somebody now to find out maybe why we didn't get paid. That's a tough spot too as somebody, and it confuses my wife something fierce because she's like, what job would someone ever work where they worked and performed a task and then never got paid?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Teachers.
Nobody.
Teachers.
Well, at schools.
Excuse me.
Yeah, it's going back to the schools.
I always had
but it's true though.
A big calendar, right? I'm going to Bentley. Naturally the date's already on there. 3 o'clock start time. If the game was played when I got home, right underneath it, I worked, right? And when their check came in, and they were good about paying, they were within a couple of days, big X through it. All right, that game's out of the way.
Right.
Well, funny enough, I got an email from a school towards the end of the year, and they said, hey, we just realized we never paid you. And I said, well, that game got canceled, but I mean, if you want to pay me anyways, like, here's my information, like, that's fine.
Well, don't forget, if you showed up to the game and the game wasn't played.
Yeah.
I had one of those, but I didn't get paid for that one. But this was a high school game. That was a travel team. Yeah.
I always feel guilty about those games, but I guess we did take the time to travel there, and it's time we could be working another game, and so that's what I tell myself.
It was a rain out.
But it's always a weird feeling, like getting money to just show up.
To just show up.
Yeah, but we work.
So
hard.
Joe, who are you assigning for now? You're still assigning, and what you said the Park League? Did I miss the other ones?
No, I don't. In the summer, I just do the Intercity League.
Oh, Intercity. I'm sorry, my apologies. Okay, so you're just assigning for Intercity now.
Yeah, and in high school, I'm just assigning the Catholic Conference.
Okay, and so when you have the big games, how do you choose who you're going to put in those games?
The Catholic Conference is a tough baseball conference, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Tell you the truth, I'm basically using college officials that are off that day. or high level high school people, who've worked state tournaments and state semifinals and finals for that league there. That league warrants that kind of a fee.
Yeah, we had Carl Rodriguez on a while ago. He was talking to us about that, and I guess there were some upsets this year in the finals. Yeah, we were talking about that. That's great. He's my baseball umpire mentor, so I talk to him all the time. He's mentioned you, but yeah, so that makes sense, right? There's a lot of competition there. You need your best guys there.
Yes.
Yeah. And so you choose. Oh, sorry,
go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, and so do you choose them based on their kind of track record, like things you've heard, things you've seen? You just kind of know those are your top guys.
And 90% of them I've worked with before, so I know what kind of umpires they are.
And does that give you the ability to kind of figure out when you can kind of bump them up to the next level?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, Joe, so here's the all-important question. What have you heard about us?
Do you want to know something? Like you said at the beginning, we really never met.
I'm just messing with you. It's probably a good thing that you don't know that you've never heard our name. Because if you
I don't think we've had enough time to screw up. Really,
we need report cards.
Yeah.
We do need report cards. I don't disagree with that.
Right. According to some, and we've talked about this on this podcast before, right? According to some teams, we're the great umpire that they're so excited to see. And then to some other teams, we're trash. So it really depends on who you ask and how you called the game or if you called it in their direction. So it depends.
No, but
I'm a legend at Belmont Hill at this point.
But there are games where, you hear after the game, great job. You had a great zone, all this.
Yeah.
How does that get to Walter, the people we need to know?
Was there ever an arbiter rating system of any sort?
There actually is a rating system on the arbiter, right? But you really can't let summer baseball coaches, right?
Yeah.
Right.
No, you can't.
Because 90% of them don't have a clue.
They don't even know the rules, half of them. Are you kidding? I've had to explain to them, I'm like, what are you talking about?
And are most of those rating systems dependent on the coach's input?
Yes. It is the coach. It is the coach who's rating you, yes.
Right.
Yeah, no.
And most of the time when they're rating...
In college, you got rated every game.
Oh, wow.
And then there was in the Cape Cod League too, right? They have like who brought that? Was it Rich who brought that? No, who brought that? No, it was Mikey. Yeah, Mike Hinojosa. He brought his report card from the Cape Cod League. That was really cool. Like that would be awesome. Granted, fantastic. That probably costs a lot of money and whatever, but that was really cool.
Yeah.
Stat tracks.
Stat tracks. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, especially with new umpires, I just, I know we've talked about it a lot.
Agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
I think that's one of our biggest gripes between the three of us is getting the feedback.
It just
and
seems
at
to be
least
such a secretive thing. Like it's such a I don't know why it's so bad to give someone positive or even negative feedback.
No, we do hear the negative. If something's wrong. Well, there's a phone call that usually gets made.
That's the problem, right? We'll hear the negative stuff, but we never hear the positive stuff.
Right.
You must hear some positive, right? You got to hear some good things about your guys, right?
Some of my high school coaches are great about giving feedback to me about sub-varsity officials.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll get a phone call from a coach saying, absolutely. Hey, Joe did a great job tonight.
Yeah.
But I bet that also depends on your relationship, Joe, as the assigner with the coaches, right? So that has a lot to do with it, I'm sure.
I've been around long enough where I basically have a really good relationship with all the coaches that I deal with, right? after a league meeting, come on, let's go have a beer, right?
Yeah,
And you sit down and, hey, you need my help by getting you good umpires. I need your help by you finding me some pretty good umpires, right? And I know there's some in your area, right? But I need to hear that that you think someone's ready to move up from the JV or from the freshman to the JV to the varsity level. And you know what's killing us now is if you're half decent at the high school level, they're hurting at the college level also.
Yeah.
So there were guys getting shot up to the college level who, 10, 15 years ago, would be lucky to be doing JV baseball.
Right.
Yeah. No, it's a good time to be an umpire. You can certainly move up.
It certainly is.
Quickly.
But then isn't there a negative to that? Because I think, we were talking about if you're a brand new umpire, right, and then they kind of just send you right to a varsity game, I'd be shitting my pants, right? So if
but the alternative,
right, and so then
22. Yeah.
But alternatively, we get thrown to JV games by ourselves when we're just starting.
Equally shitting my pants sometimes, but not anymore, right? Because now I'm used to it.
Which I think
now I'm totally used to it.
I think it's more difficult to
Agreed. However, I think that, right, and Joe, you can tell me I'm wrong. Please feel free. That if, you're going from small, varsity, sub-varsity, whatever, small field, you have a lot of parents, but it's nothing like when you walk into a college stadium. And that even just walking into this big stadium, lots of people, right, that'll wreck your nerves. That'll do something to you. And if you're not prepared for that, right, not even just calling the game, because sometimes calling the game is the easy part. It's navigating everything else, whether it's the heat, whether you've done 3 games already, whether it's, the parents or you have a chirpy coach. That to me is the thing that really we all need more training on, right? How you handle those moments, but that's experience. And so I don't know how you do that necessarily.
Yeah. Like you said, it's experience.
Yeah. Well, and so then that's why going right to college from, like you were saying, just because you were a good varsity umpire, going right to a college game, that can be a catch-22. That cannot be such a great thing.
Absolutely.
Because you're just not ready. You just haven't had that yet.
Yeah,
and I've seen many what would have been great high school officials, right? Go to college, right? And after 1 year, saying, "No, I don't. This is too serious."
Yeah.
But one of the reasons we want to have Tom Clues on, I hope that we do soon, is to talk about the training, because he does a great job going over all the NFHS rules, but I feel like the field training could be a little more in depth,
robust.
A
little more robust. The field training definitely needs to be a little more robust.
I think you're going to see it this year. Mike and myself and Richie Cabral and Sam Finn have talked about we need video, right?
And that's what we do here. We've done that on this podcast. It's shown different videos, and it's helped us. We'll learn something.
It's not just putting the rule on the video. It's showing an actual play being happening. And all right, why was this guy safe? Why was this interference? Why this or why that? Right.
Now call it in 5 seconds.
And make sure you pause.
Yes. Squeeze your indicator. Yeah. Well, we've talked about this before, that there's no middle ground between the field, the field training, and doing your first game, right? So there's no apprenticing, there's no going to just kind of be behind the plate or stand on the bases and just be there. You're right in it. I mean, my first game, I was not ready. I'm terrified. and left that field thinking, what was I thinking? I never should have signed up to do this.
Yeah. And
Correct me if I'm wrong, Joe. It's probably a lot like parenthood. No one tells you how parenthood is going to be until you're actually in it, right?
True.
I mean, and it's kind of what I told Ange and Dan before they even started, but I couldn't even explain it in a way where they could understand it. Like,
no, it's true.
This is
it's
just
true.
the way the process is right now,
right?
You know, and I think that's one of the hardest things.
Yeah,
at least about starting, anyway.
You have to have a thick skin to be an umpire. Thick to do those first couple games, especially you're going to be by yourself.
First year officials who have never officiated before, right, should not be assigned games by themselves.
Yeah.
Right. They have.
I mean,
they should.
I think that was my entire first year.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
And then the problem, right, Joe, is a lot of those guys, right, is they won't even go on a game where they have a partner for 2, 3, 4, 5 months into their whole, like, quote unquote career, right? Like I worked with a guy a couple of weeks ago. It was his second time with a partner. I was like, when did you start? He was like, oh, in April.
Yeah. I've said
beginning of June.
But that was, sorry, go ahead, Dan.
No, I've said this time and time again. The first time I had a partner, I thought he was throwing gang signs at me, and I didn't know the hints. I didn't know the hints.
We talked about that before. We had no idea.
I'm gonna get you in the parking lot after the game.
I was like, what? Okay, sure. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
So even that,
Gotcha.
just the signals between your partner. Yeah, like that would be huge.
You know that one, right?
2 down?
Blood or
3.
Crips?
Yeah, blood.
The beer
Arthritis?
is in the pool.
Let's go.
So
Open
I have a question. Oh yeah, right. We're going. Joe, I have a question for you. So in your time, how many women umpires have you assigned or worked with?
Great question.
None. I didn't even know we had a woman umpire in our association.
There's another woman. I forget her name now. I worked with her. Linda. I don't know if she's still
in football. I've got 3 woman officials that work for me.
Interesting.
Did a very good too.
It's interesting because, when we talk about evaluating, we talk about, just getting onto the field. And we talked about this, I think, last episode, and Dan was my partner for one kind of pretty egregious situation. But I get treated differently on the field. And sometimes I wonder if my performance is shaded because of that. And granted, I have had some coaches and teams that think I'm great, and they are so happy when they see me show up. And I've also dealt with coaches who have just had it out for me for the moment I stepped on the field, or they were like, they had no idea that I've played baseball my whole life, had no idea that like I am, bleed white stitches, red stitches, but they have no idea, but they see me coming and I'll see the like, or the, questioning every call, every rule, everything I do. And I have to make sure that I'm not too emotional, right? But I want to call every single one of them out for it. So that's why I haven't popped my ejection cherry yet, as Dan likes to call it. But my question being, I think, how do you evaluate somebody through a coach, through a team, when there might be that kind of lens, but if you've never had a woman umpire that you've worked with before, I don't know. Do you see what I'm saying? I lost it a little bit, but.
To me, it doesn't matter. An umpire is an umpire. You throw the mask on just like a guy throws the mask on, right?
Just not the cup. Yeah.
But
I hear you. Yeah.
An official's an official. The 3 woman officials that work for me in football, like I said, they're very, very good, and are treated no different than the men are treated.
Do you think that they would agree with that statement?
Yes. Yes.
And the,
Okay.
the MLB, right? Jen Powell, she's working her way up.
She's
to
coming up.
MLB,
Yeah, she is.
First
Jen,
female umpire.
Yep. I'm on a Facebook page called Women in Blue, and there's a theme of working with partners where they make comments, or parents who make comments directly linked to the fact that it's a female official, and I see it and I do feel it sometimes, while I'm officiating a game or whatnot, and I think it's just an interesting point, right? So there aren't many women. And so you're right, Dan, I think I met Linda at one of the meetings that we had. This is her first year, I believe. But there's not many. And I just think it's interesting, because if Dan or Gib were to get evaluated, it would be a very clear evaluation on their skill. Whereas
100%.
I wonder what that evaluation would look like if it was done by a coach. I do think that, the assigners obviously have worked with me or know me, would view it differently, would be more objective. But when you were talking about coaches having that access to arbiter, I wonder what that would look like for me as compared to Dan and Gib.
To me, it shouldn't look any different than a guy. It shouldn't.
Agreed.
But
reality often doesn't dictate that.
Yeah, but and again, right? I haven't had the experience of comparing what it looks like a man against a woman.
Mm-hmm. But you said you have your football officials who are females, and that you see something different in football.
Very, very little, right? Because the woman that I have do a real good job.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you think that women have to do a better job to be considered just as good? Because I've had this conversation with other umpires too.
She's setting you up, Joe.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
I take the fifth on that.
No. This is a question I really have for an assigner as a woman, and as a third of this podcast, right? That I've talked to other umpires who have said to me, I quote unquote, I feel bad for you because you have to be so much better than me to be considered as good as me. And I do think that that's true. I've seen it. I've seen it.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I think
fair.
I think it may be the other way around. That a woman may get a pardon, right, quicker than a guy would.
I can see that point too. I can see that point.
That's just
interesting.
The way I'm thinking about it.
Well, you might be a kinder person than most, because I've definitely had coaches say some things to me that were very outrageous.
Oh, and the forums, the message forums.
The forums are nasty. Yeah. I've had some very horrible things said to me.
Hiding behind their computers.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That was nasty.
Yeah. I've shown them to Dan. They're bad. Yeah. So I think that that's good on you. I think that unfortunately you are not, you are a minority in that place, but I think good on you that that's the way that you think. I appreciate that as a female umpire.
I coached 31 years varsity basketball, right? And I had woman officials, and there's some damn good woman basketball officials out there.
Yeah, my friend does. I think Division III. Yeah, she's great.
And do you want to know something? I know I was much easier on a woman than I was on the men officials.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Nature, nurture. I mean, I could say the same thing as a parent too. I know I'm harder on Monty than I am on Lena, and that's not even me trying, but it's nature and nurture. I mean, some of that is. Bottom line, Joe, as an assigner, you get put in some tough positions too.
Yeah.
So
sure.
I mean,
yeah,
we're not trying to put you on the spot by any means.
No, not at all. It's just interesting.
No problem.
And I do think as an assigner, you have a very different role than a coach or a player or a parent. Because, like I said, I think those are the majority. Like Walter obviously loves the fact that I umpire because I met him, 8 years ago at the 100 innings game. Loves the fact that I umpire now. I get nothing but positive things from, I would say, 90% of the partners that I work with. So for me, that's not the issue. It really is that other side. It's the coaches, it's the players, it's the parents and stuff like that. It really hasn't been the other way unless it's been publicly on Facebook or something, and those comments are horrible. But anyways, I digress. I just wanted to hear your side of female, if you had a female umpire in your history.
Yeah, no, it's to me, an umpire is an umpire.
Agreed. What do you think about the new women's league then? Have you heard about this? Tryouts are happening in Chicago this weekend.
Yep. And they'll grab umpires from the minor league umpire camps. I hate to say it, but that may be a stepping stone from like the minor leagues, from the women's professional league into the big leagues. You never know what they're going to do.
That's a good point.
We'll see.
Open a lot of different doors.
For a lot of different people.
If I may change subjects.
Yes, you may. Sorry.
No, that's an important topic. I know we were talking about what you wanted, like your title to be for this episode, and I know being on the committee of the MIAA is important for you, and that's obviously what we have on the episode title. Can you tell us about what kind of your role is being on the committee of the MIAA?
Yeah. Well, when I first got on the committee, one of the major roles was picking the teams for the Super 8, right? So I had to go out and do a lot of games, right, with teams I wasn't familiar with, like St. John's of Shrewsbury, right? And I'd have to make deals with assigners from other areas where, hey, I gotta see them, or if they came into my area, right, I would make sure that I was in games with them, and teams that were on the watch list, right, I would basically see 2 or 3 times during the season, maybe not officiating the game, but sitting in the stands, like St. Peter Marion a couple of years ago, right? I had to drive up there twice to see them play because they were on the watch list, and you wanted to be fair and try to get the best of 8 teams into the Super 8. Can
you explain what the Super 8 is for people who don't know?
Super 8 was supposedly the top 8 teams in the state had their own separate tournament, and it almost always ended up with at least 3 Catholic conference teams, and then maybe
that's some great ball.
There were teams down in the South Shore that were always very good. Franklin and Braintree, Walpole, Taunton, but anyways, the top 8 teams that were picked by a 7-man committee, an 8-man committee, right? Were in a separate tournament, and it was actually an advantage to some of the schools that could never win the tournament, if
Mhm.
the BC Highs and the Zavarians and
Mhm.
the Braintrees, and the Walpoles, and the better teams that are in the state are in the tournament with them,
Mhm.
right? There's no way they could ever win the state tournament. Since they got away from that, and now it's just one big tournament. It's now you just sit back and it's all done by a computer, right? How teams are seeded.
Mhm.
And they just changed that system not too long ago, that structure, right? What, 4 or 5 years ago, Joe? Right?
It was uh, b- 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 b-
Um,
it was
right after COVID?
right. You want to know something? It could have been during COVID that they ended up doing it. Could have been during COVID that they ended up making the change.
Yeah, because I coached at West Roxbury for 13 years, so it still wasn't. I've been out of there 5 years now, so I know it wasn't. At least it must have been right after then when I
Yeah,
left.
yeah, it was right in that area there. So that was part of my job on the in the there's so
Part of the
many.
board, part of the MIAA board.
The MIAA board. The other is when rules come up, you're voting on it.
Mhm.
When fees come up, right? And I'm always the one bringing fees up, and always getting voted down. But
Mhm.
Still
But
getting
you're
voted
fighting the
down.
good fight. Yeah.
That and it was basically where the tournaments were going to be held, like this the state tournament is going to be held at Polar Park for forever, right?
So cool.
Now LaLachia and Lowell will be used. BC High will be used if BC High is not involved, but it's getting everyone to agree upon where things should happen, how things should happen,
Mhm.
and we're only the bottom of the run, because after we make a vote on something, it goes to the game officials committee, and then from the game officials committee it goes to the tournament committee, and then from the tournament committee it goes to the board of directors, and so there's so many steps.
There are so many committees in baseball,
Yes.
in high school baseball. It is insane.
Yes.
Probably
It always
too
has
many.
been.
It's,
Yeah.
I know, it's wild to me though. Every time like we have conversations like this, it's just wild how many steps and how many people are involved in such a. I mean, it's the best sport in the world, but I mean, how many people are involved?
Joe, how many times does the board meet a year?
4 times a year. Yeah.
So quarterly?
Yeah, 4 times a year. But it's made up of. First of all, it's made up of principals, athletic directors, coaches. There's one coach and there's one umpire, but the rest are all basically administrators, and not for nothing, but you may have somebody on the board who's a superintendent who doesn't know whether a baseball is blown up or stuffed. So
Does it ever get heated in there?
Yes, sometimes it gets very heated.
Does it ever get heated in there?
Yes, sometimes it gets very heated. But
Sometimes it gets very heated.
Yes, sometimes it gets very heated.
Okay.
Yeah, it does
What
sometimes.
are some of the most kind of controversial, if you can tell us, like things that are on the table?
Money, honey. It's always
Mm.
money,
Right?
right? Isn't it always?
Yeah,
There's got to be rules too, right? Concussion protocols. It's got to be that stuff too.
no, because whatever the federation rule book says is what they go by.
Oh, right,
They make
Yeah.
no changes at all to
Okay.
the federation rule book.
So is it only money? That breaks my heart.
No,
That makes me so sad.
No, there was some heated discussions about going federation, right?
Oh, okay.
Right. We wanted a lot of people wanted to stay with the major league rule book,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is, we should be going by.
Well, the
Keeps it
NFHS rule book
consistent.
is crazy.
Yeah.
You
So
can't even read it.
That's another
You
thing.
can't.
We joined the class
Yeah.
and we thought we knew baseball, and then you handed out one of those rule books, and it was like.
And I was
oh,
like, "What? What
Yeah.
is this? What is this?"
Yeah.
Well, in the way it's written too is.
Oh, it's yeah.
Yeah.
I
Stereo
could
instructions.
ask you a question about the MLB rules, right? And you can go right to it. If I'll find it in a minute, 2 minutes, right?
Yeah.
If I ask you a federation rule, right, it may take you an hour and a half
Yeah.
just to find where it's referenced.
Yeah.
And then, it'll send you to this page, to this page, to this page, to that page. And, by then you forgot what the question was.
Right. Or you don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Similar situation came up this week. We had a question about a rule, and somebody got back to us 2 days later with the rule after they found it. So you're absolutely
Oh,
right.
wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and we talked about it last week too, right? That you have to keep like 4 different sets of rules in your head if you're talking about the different leagues and
More than
who
that.
you're, what you're. Yeah, I mean, really more than that, but who you're officiating and it's a lot. And you mess up every once in a while because sometimes you forget where you are.
ground rules can get a little complicated too sometimes.
Yeah. I try to make sure that I cover every single thing that I can think of from the differences. And sometimes people look at me like, lady, like, don't you know this? And I'm just like, nope, it's different. It's different everywhere. I just want to make sure that we're doing drop third.
Yep.
Like, are we doing slide or avoid? Like, please, like, I don't want to call it wrong.
Who's the home team, right? Explain it.
Yep.
Explain it to us right now.
Yep.
You've been here before. I was here before, but explain them.
We're
Tell
going
me again.
over it.
Yeah. Just make sure we're on the same page. Yeah,
Yep.
all the time. Yeah,
Because if you don't say it, then guess what? It
Yep.
didn't happen.
Yep.
exactly. Yep.
Well,
Absolutely.
Joe, this has been great. I know we've learned a whole lot. All these episodes have been great. We learned so much about umpiring. Obviously, we're all still fairly new. Gibbs, a veteran with 3 years. Ange and I are just on our
Seasoned
second year. But if you had to, this will be the last question, unless you guys have other questions.
Nope, I'm good.
What would
This
you
was great.
say to young umpire, older umpire who's thinking about getting into umpiring? What would you tell them?
Work 4 games on a 90-degree day on a weekend. No,
Avoid the clap, Jimmy Dugan.
you want to know something, right? I admire what you guys are doing, working 4 games in a day. That means, right? The money's good, but also, right? You want to become a good umpire, right? And you're out there, no matter what the temperature is, right? Working your ass off, and that's what I'm looking for as a commissioner, right? Someone who's out there and just going to work his ass out, right? And it is not just there just to pick up a check, right? Is there to give the two teams
A fair shot to play ball.
Yep.
That's all.
Yep.
That's all I want.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Best game.
Well, you have our phone numbers now. Earmuffs, Walter.
Joe, I'll tell you what, a lot of this is because all three of us, right, are taking the time to learn from people like you and a lot of the people that you've taught. Carl, Mikey, I can go on, even Sammy, Mike Lightbody. We're taking the time to learn from this, to find out what they did. We're listening to the things that you guys have to say, you in particular, because we're all kind of gaining this new perspective on things. And we're sponges. We want to learn. We want to do better because we love the game as much as our parents have, and as much as I know you do.
Another way to improve your game, go out and watch, right, some of the better umpires, right, that are working. Look up some of the intercity league games that are in your area. You get Melrose is right next door to you guys.
We're usually working those nights.
Well,
That's true.
I understand.
It's a catch-22, right? But I know. Hey, I was down the Cape this weekend. I caught a game, and that's all I watched. I didn't watch a lot of baseball. I watched a lot of umpires.
It is so different to watch a game now.
I'm gonna tell you what, you laugh, right? But I went for years, right, going into Red Sox games, right. And how was the game? I don't know. I was watching the umpires. They did a great job. Right. Watch the umpires.
It's the old Wizard of Oz cliche. You know the man behind the curtain now. Like you can't go and undo it.
Yeah. Watch the umpires.
But it's like we have, it's crazy because as much as we all love baseball, and we've talked about this before, this new world that we're in, it's almost reinvigorating my love for baseball anyways, and my kind of passion for the sport and now for umpiring, because it's such a different view of the game that we get to see. It's a different lens, and it's exciting and new, and it's different. It's not just like every other game. When you're playing, it becomes routine. It really is so different. And I am learning something every single game. Even the most routine games, even when I walk off the field and I was like, damn, I called a good game. I still learned something from that game that I'm going to put into my toolbox, And
you have to be very truthful with yourself.
Oh,
you have to be able to look yourself in the mirror and say, yeah, I did a good job. Or I was harsh here tonight.
Game 4 today.
Sometimes you have to admit it to yourself. I kicked the shit out of that call. No, I got it right. I know I got it right, and that's why the guy's in the parking lot now, because I got it right and he got it wrong.
I remember one night I had like the best call of my life. I swear to God. I mean, hopefully I'll have a better one someday, but it was just, I was in the right position. I just saw everything as it came. I took my time. I called it. Kid was out. And I was like, I wanted somebody to almost look at me like I hit a home run, right? And the other coach was just bullshit and like yelling. But I was like, no, that was such a good call. Like, no, you don't understand what I just did there.
I got it right.
But it was like so good. Like, I mean, it was just like textbook. I was in the right position. I did my pivot. It was chef's kiss. Like I'm still so proud of that. And then, one team was really happy, obviously, but I just remember looking over this coach who was pissed and I'm like, no, you don't understand what I just did. It was beautiful.
Yeah, that's true. Most of them don't know what we just did.
No. But yeah, good time.
That's
Joe, you've been wonderful. Thank you so much for coming on and just sharing all of your knowledge with us.
My pleasure. Just remember, it's all about timing. It's all about timing.
Never not squeeze my indicator now. So if anything, thank you for that.
Yeah. Right. And you want to know something? After you do it and you're used to it, you'll even stop squeezing your indicator. You'll
just have it down.
It'll be natural to you. It'll be natural to you.
That's awesome. I have the bases tomorrow. Now I wish I had the dish, but that's okay.
Well, I bring my indicator to the bases sometimes, just mostly out of boredom, because we both rather be behind the
Yeah.
the plate.
Oh,
I think
for
all three
sure.
of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bring my elastics. So you got to bring elastics.
Although today I was very happy being on the bases. Yeah.
Don't let a lot of the veterans see you with the indicator.
No, I
on the
know, I know.
bases.
I usually ask my partner. I was like, "Are you offended if I,
Joe, here's a
But-
quick question for you too. There's something I just started doing because it was something I was told, especially as we kind of grow with the leagues.
Grow up.
I used to kind of tell the pitcher if a new pitcher came in the middle of an inning, and he had guys on base, I'd go to the mound and be like,
You're
"All
the
right, bud,
you're the plate man.
I'm the plate man." Yep.
Mhm.
After he warms up, "Hey, bud, you got bases loaded. There's 2 outs." I don't do that anymore because I was told, you know what? A lot of, as you kind of, as you mature with the better ball, whoever's taking the mound should know what the situation is. It shouldn't be your duty to tell them, "Hey, you got 1 out, you got 2 out, you got guys on base."
Yeah.
So I just stopped doing it. I don't want to go for too much longer, but what do you think of that?
I go 3 steps to the mound and go, all right, we got 2 outs, right? We got, let's say it was the middle of a batter. We got 2 outs, right? Second and third, right? 3 and 2 on the batter. Let's
So
go.
you would let the pitcher know what the situation
Let
was.
them know what the situation is. Absolutely.
Yeah, curious.
I mean,
It's, again, new perspectives we're gaining from different
Mm-hmm.
people,
I don't see how it could be a negative thing.
No, exactly. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
Just curious. It's something I've been pondering in my head these last couple weeks.
yeah. It can't hurt.
Oh, I used to do it all the time. I just
Unless you give them the
I
wrong.
had
unless
I
you
had
give 'em
someone
the
Unless
say,
you're-
"Hey, you don't need
information.
to tell them what the situation is."
No,
Like,
I-
all right. Like,
Gib, it's funny that you say that because the first time I ever saw anybody do that was you, and then I started doing it right after because I was like, yeah, that's exactly what should happen.
yeah. Well, I just had someone tell me I should stop doing that, so I was like, didn't really. Yeah. Now
But think of it this way, right? In the level of baseball that you're working right now, what are you working, 14, 15-year-old kids?
we did 18 today, but yeah, I mean for the most part,
right,
yeah.
It's 90 degrees. It's 90 degrees out,
You should probably tell them.
right?
Everyone's hot.
They're not,
What about
they're not big league players.
What about in your ICL games?
I still do it. Still do it.
Yeah, considering these young kids have the attention span of a,
Yeah,
after one
exactly.
pitch, they're like, "What's the count?" I was like,
all the time.
It's 0-1.
Yeah.
It's been 1 pitch.
Yeah. That's true. Well, I was going to say to Dan, you, the indicator on the field, one of the benefits of being a woman umpire is that when I wear my elastics on my wrists, nobody says anything because they just look like my hair elastics.
Yeah.
And then I just switch them from side to side so that I can keep track and it's not my indicator.
That is great.
And then we learned that there was an MLB umpire that apparently did the same thing. They zoomed in on him with elastic bands. He would switch it from, hand to hand.
Which was so funny. That's when you brought that up. And I was like, that's what I do. I hadn't seen it.
Hey, whatever works. Whatever works.
Yep. Whatever works.
But Joe, we appreciate your time.
It's been real.
Appreciate you coming
Thank
on.
you, Joe. It's
Thank
been
you.
yes.
It's nice to finally meet you. We've heard your name many of times.
Many times.
And hopefully,
Save our phone numbers.
Yes.
We want to be on your arbiter.
It's actually Walter's arbiter that I'm on.
Oh, the same thing, right? Yeah, the CAC.
Yeah.
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 Well, call us up.
Walter's probably calling you right now.
Walter's
right?
texting right now.
Don't touch them.
Don't you dare.
Don't touch it.
Yeah.
What are
Good
you
old
doing
Walter.
taking games from him?
Yeah.
I love you, Walter. Keep
Love you,
signing,
Walter.
man.
Love
That's
you,
right.
Walter. Yeah.
We all love Walter.
It's a hard job. We know you guys. You don't have an easy job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
So
envy.
thanks for everything you're doing behind the scenes too.
Absolutely.
All the stuff, all the boards, all the things.
you.
We need people.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My pleasure being on tonight, too.
Yes, we appreciate it. Thank you
Absolutely.
so much.
Thanks, Joe.
Okay. Have a good night.
Have a good
Bye
night.
now.
Bye
Talk
now.
soon. All right. Good night, sir. Good stuff.
Good stuff, guys.
Awesome,
Love
awesome.
it.
Awesome.
You know, every single episode we've had, guys, we've gained something from someone.
Oh,
yeah.
every
Yeah,
game, everyone.
Why we do
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
some great
And hopefully we're
stories.
teaching, right, and hopefully we're teaching umpires out there who are watching, honestly, like, not to be cheesy for a second, but I think had this podcast or a podcast like this been around last year when we were coming up, I would have been listening every
awesome.
week.
That would've
You know
been
what I
awesome.
mean? So I think how awesome is this that we get to do that and ask all the questions?
Dude, and some of the players that we see, I mean, I know Danny's like telling everyone he sees, but like,
Mhm.
had I known, like, maybe when I was like 15, 16 years old, like, hey, yeah, get into umpiring,
Oh.
like, man, would have made me such a different ball player.
Yeah, I got one of the
Right.
teams to follow us, and then we blew a call, and I don't think they're following us anymore.
And they were like,
Probably not.
yeah,
They're swimming right now.
yeah, yeah. Shout out to the Bulldogs if they are. No, they're good kids. They're
Sorry I
like,
yelled at your coach.
they're like, how many
No, you're
games
not.
you doing today? I was like 4. I was like, Walter probably would have given me 2 more if I didn't block off the time. He's like, oh, you got a rager tonight? I was like, no, I'm doing a podcast. Like, oh, what's your
A rager.
podcast? What's your podcast? I'm gonna write it down. They
That's
said they're-
awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Good kids. Good kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, guys, episode 10. We killed it. We crushed it.
Yeah.
I think every episode, I'm like, this was my favorite. Nope, this was my favorite. But squeezing the indicator, that is a real tip.
Squeezing. Just don't break it.
Yeah. I have backups. I have 5 now because I lost one once.
I actually went out and bought 2 when we left
Yeah.
our game this afternoon. So, you want
Yep.
a fresh one, D? I have it for you.
No, I got a couple because I lose them all the
Yeah.
time.
Me too, because
And,
Dan and I
I-
are both blessed
and
with
I think
ADHD.
I think
Leave 'em
Christine
in your bag.
mentioned this being an umpire podcast. I don't know if he was being sarcastic or not, but
Who?
Christine said something about
Oh.
umpire podcast. But it's more than just an umpire podcast, and you'll see that next
Yeah.
week. We got Johnny Robles on. That should be a treat. Johnny Robles and Carlos Escano, members of the BMBL, the BABL, and they're going to talk about the South Shore Giants Foundation that they started, which
Oh, awesome. Oh,
is-
that's fantastic.
is, yeah, donating used baseball equipment, gloves,
Yeah.
bats.
Zach and I give all the time.
Yep.
Yep, and they pack it up and they send
Yep,
it
and they-
down to
Boxes and boxes of
Boxes.
baseball
Boxes.
stuff to the
Just,
DR.
it's just amazing. Yeah, to the DR. It's amazing.
And yeah,
and
the
not
look-
only that, like Carlos delivers it himself.
Oh, I know.
Like they
Yeah.
got some incredible pictures and
Seeing
stuff.
some of those pictures,
Yep.
yeah, that's it's just incredible work. Yeah.
Yep. And they won some
Especially when you
awards.
see
They-
kids.
they- I think
Yeah,
got
oh, they
some-
did, yeah.
Some awards. So, yeah, can't wait to talk to
Yep.
them about that. And it's always fun talking to Robles. He's always a treat. So, should be.
I think I've only
entertaining.
met him once or twice, so
Johnny's
You'll
great.
never forget him.
that's exciting.
Yeah. But yeah,
All right, dudes.
that'll be next Sunday night, 8:00.
Happy Sunday night, guys.
And tune in.
Yeah,
And make sure
episode
you
10.
like and subscribe, guys. Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Instagram. Let's go. All right, time for another cold shower.
Stay hydrated. Stay hydrated this week, folks.
Yeah, you guys gotta start using the liquid IV. Seriously, buy yourself some
IV.
packets.
Like,
Maybe we need to get them to sponsor us.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's like powder. I learned about it with my kidney. It's just powder. You put it into your water, and it gives you like extra hydration.
Really.
That's,
Mm-hmm.
The wife just bought me a cooling vest that you can put ice packs in.
What?
Oh, I think I heard
Yeah,
about that.
and you can still put on your shoulder, your chest protector and
Well,
have
my
it
chest
all.
protector's huge, so I'll be fine. Still can't find equipment that fits me. But that's another time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gib, I'll see you tomorrow
Yeah.
back at Tufts, right? Game.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are what time?
Well, I'm going to Austin
12:30.
Prep for 3 games and then back to Tufts for the 4th game.
12,
Yeah.
3, and 5.
Oh, all right. My game's at 5:45. All right, maybe I'll stop by and see an earlier game. I'll call you.
Bring Richie
Find where you
Cabral
guys
with
are.
you.
Yeah, yeah.
Apparently
Me and
he's
Rich can
gonna-
road trip. Yeah.
There you go.
Awesome. All right, guys.
Have a
All
good
right.
night.
It's been real.
And good night, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Episode 10.
Episode 10.